Okay, we are now recording video and audio. It's about 5:35, it looks like. This is a special Common Council meeting for the Greenfield Common Council. We have a quorum. Alderperson Kastner is excused this evening. He's attending an important family event that he could not get out of. So this meeting is called to order at 5:35. I apologize for my attire. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I was actually didn't know we were going to be on TV tonight. I thought it was just going to be a short one. So it's a Neil Diamond Crew t-shirt from 1998-99, his tour, which is kind of cool. I like Neil Diamond. All right. The meeting's called to order. Would you please call the roll, please?
Alderperson Collins.
Present.
Alderperson Bailey.
Present.
Alderperson Kastner is excused. Alderperson Akers.
Present.
Alderperson Sarian.
Present.
Okay, before the public hearing, and I know there are members in the audience that are here for the public hearing, there are a couple announcements that Alderperson Collins came up with. I know this isn't technically agenda under mayor report or announcements. I'm hoping the council gives the latitude to get these important messages out. Do you want to go through them, Alderperson Collins?
If you don't mind, just real quick, tonight, the Brews and Bites, it's the final concert of the season at the AMP, and they have the Brits, who is the Beatle tribute band, and that's going on from 6 to 8:30.
Is it Britons or Brits?
I said Brits, Britons, thank you so much. And then this Saturday, September 11th, is the Greenfield Car Show, and that is noon to 4, and that's presented by Rosen Automotive, and that's also going to be at Conkle Park. It should be a lot of fun. There's quite a few cars that are going to be there.
This Saturday or next Saturday?
The 11th.
The 11th of September.
Next week.
And then September 18th, which is a Saturday, is the final movie in the park. And that's featuring the movie Soul, sponsored by Waterstone Bank. And that's it. I just wanted to say these because it is the end of the AMP.
Okay.
Thank
I understand
you.
this is a special Common Council meeting. Many of you know that a couple weekends ago, something terrible happened in our community where one of our officers was shot. I just want to report that it sounds like he's made it through the couple surgeries in a good way, and he's doing very well. It sounded like he had a FaceTime, and I won't say what his words were to the roll call at the police department, but it sounded like he's doing very, very well. And I talked to you little guys a little bit about this before the meeting. I got to watch the body cam footage, and I got to watch the squad footage, and I do that not because I want to just see, there's all sorts of litigate, people sue, and I mean all this stuff, right? So you're doing all of that. But what I can say is I was extremely proud of our officers to the point of, so when I watch Frosty the Snowman, do you watch Frosty the Snowman? And Santa comes back with Christmas snow. And every time that happens, I just break into tears because it's one of those, it's like, good God, Santa's okay, right? That's how I felt. And that's an amazing emotion. I was so very, very proud of our officers. And for anyone, and I'm getting a little emotional now, and I apologize for that, if anyone questions the training, the professionalism, any of it with regard to our officers and how our department is run. And if anyone looks through that prism of nightly news where police officers' actions are questioned in other places throughout the country and the world, if you saw what I saw, and I think you probably will at some point, you would be very, very proud. I'm very happy it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, under public hearings, item B1 is a public hearing on a special use permit for Playtime Doggy Daycare. 3, I guess, a proposed dog boarding business to be located 4333 South 108th Street, submitted by Greg Pawliski, doing business as Playtime Doggy Daycare, LLC, and Todd Reardon, doing business as Greenfield Investments, LLC. The course of action that we're asking you to vote on this evening is to approve a special use permit and to approve the site landscaping and architectural plans, which I think have all been worked out internally between the folks that, I think, right? Right, a couple minor details that we can probably get in at the public hearing. But with that, I'd like to call the public hearing to order. We have Andrew here.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The applicant is proposing to purchase the former Brager Automotive location on Highway 100 and establish a dog daycare, boarding, grooming, and training business, Playtime Doggy Daycare 3. The property is zoned C4, which permits pet boarding uses as a special use. The proposed hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. for the retail side of things. 7 days a week, but they will be open essentially for overnight pet boarding services as well. They're estimating that they'll have up to 60 dogs maximum for the daycare side of things, and up to a maximum of about 20 for overnight boarding. They anticipate that they could have up to 7 employees. The number of employees that they have will depend on the number of dogs that are being boarded. So this is the subject property. South of the former Wisconsin Rental Center and north of Oregon Piper Pizza. The applicant is not proposing any major site changes to the building itself, but there are going to be some improvements to the overall site. He's going to be adding a large dog play yard to the south of the building itself. It will be surrounded by a board-on-board fence along the eastern portion and the north portion here, which will be visible from the right-of-way. The remaining portion of the fence will be chain link. He's also proposing adding extensive landscaping along Highway 100 here. The entire front parking lot is going to be redone in concrete. It's deteriorated asphalt right now, and it looks like it's in very rough shape. And they're also going to be adding curb and gutter that was recommended for approval by the Plan Commission throughout the front of the parking lot here. New board-on-board fence is also proposed to be added at this location, which is also going to be visible from the right-of-way. The existing fence that is along the western portion of the property is going to remain, but the fence is in rough shape now. It's going to be repaired, and the slats will be removed, and black slats will be placed in there. Some images of the existing conditions. The site's been vacant for a number of years. It's in very rough shape, so the proposed improvements are going to be well needed at this location. This is the building itself. I should mention the applicant is going to be repairing the light poles and replacing the heads with new LED light heads. This is looking towards the fence in the back of the property from the former Wisconsin Rental Center rear parking lot. So you can see it's deteriorated, it's in rough shape, but it is going to be repaired. The building itself has some water issues, some gutters that have failed. These are all proposed to be changed and fixed by the applicant. Same with some of the asphalt shingles that are deteriorated. There had been some metal paneling installed on a portion of the building. As you'll see in the next upcoming slides, the applicant's proposing continuing this motif for the other 3 facades, but the CMU brick will be covered up with the metal paneling. The rear parking lot, no major modifications are planned at this time. The applicant doesn't really need the space, but these existing light poles are going to be removed, so there won't be the tall lighting in the back.
Just to be clear, with the back part of the building, it's not really visible. The back of the building's not really visible to the public. Improvements can be made if they're very successful. The intention, I think, is to expand the business back there. So not wasting money by fixing something that no one can see until maybe in the future.
So as I mentioned previously, the exterior architectural modifications just include continuing the vertical metal siding on the north, south, and a portion of the south facade. On the facade, the east facade that's going to be visible from the highway, they're just planning on repairing some of the ephes that's damaged and then painting it as seen in the renderings here.
We're actually going to be reinstalling. They're taking that all out to redo it.
Okay, the ephes on the front. Okay, gotcha. The Plan Commission recommended approval at the July 13th and the August 10th meeting. That was for the architectural changes. We've received no letters of opposition for this special use.
Okay. It's been a challenged property for a very, very long time. It's had its own issues as far as getting fixed and the expense associated with it. One of the important things for the city too, and this is the special use for selling used cars has expired on the site, so it can't be a car lot anymore. This is clearly a much more desirable use. I've talked to both, I think, I don't know who I talked to. I never saw them on the phone, but the desire is to gradually continue to enhance the property, which is a good thing, right? So, all right. Is there anyone that would like to speak for, against, or informational purposes concerning this item? Only the applicant and I think the architect are here. Does anyone want to speak for, against, or for informational purposes? I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Akers, second by Alderperson Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a-
Opposed? Motion carries. Just one quick comment, too, that I want to place in the record. The reason that we're having a special common council meeting this evening is because the Greenfield, or Southwest Now, or whatever they call themselves, again, negligently did not publish the notice for the other public hearing that we properly forwarded. So that's probably, what is it, Jennifer, 5th, 6th, 7th time that they've done that?
Or more.
And if you, or more, if you could please place that in the minutes, I'd appreciate it. It will be shared with our legislators and state senators. Representative Kuglich is working on a remedy that's going to be, I think it's coming up whenever they come back in session. I think it's the end of summer or fall. And I hate to grandstand, and I've been grandstanding for years about this issue, but towns and villages are subject to different notice requirements than cities are. The reality is that the official public newspaper, nobody reads the newspaper anymore. Our newspaper doesn't really report about our city in the 8 or 12 sheets that they get of print. And we're not important enough, apparently, to insert the notices that we pay them, which probably keeps them in business because there's not a whole bunch of advertising going on in that paper either. So just want the record to be clear about that this is a special meeting on a Tuesday night when we should all be home. Okay, but I still wore a t-shirt, so. All right, so Alderperson
I have a
Akers, I'm
question.
sorry.
Can we go back to the aerial photo? What is that in the corner, the 10835? Is that a home there?
It's a home that I think is owned by the people in the corner.
Okay, I'm just curious because we did have a doggy daycare, I believe in Alderperson Bailey's district, that abutted to some residents, and we had some issues there. And I mean, I like the fact that the yard is on the opposite side of them. I'm just,
They own several dogs that are out all day long as well.
okay,
I don't think they really have an issue with it.
okay, that's just,
And-
yeah.
And just another thing too, I don't know if you remember, but those two lots on the corner just north of this were approved doggy daycare at one point.
Yeah, I remember.
That fell through.
That was
Remember, it
a
had
year or
lime,
two
it had lime green facades. and-
Last year.
Right?
It was last year that we approved that, and that went
That fell through.
nowhere,
That
obviously.
fell through with I think with COVID and some of the other stuff that was going on, so. This is a dramatic improvement for this parcel, right?
No, I'm just
Oh, I totally get it.
Right.
So-
trying
No,
to,
smart.
I don't think anybody will hear you in the organ piper. It's kind of loud in there. When that organ gets going.
We have a second location on Fulton Lane that has residential, literally right next to our building, and we know how to keep the neighbors happy and keep the noise down.
Throw them doggy treats or something?
That,
Or people treats?
well, and location of parking dogs.
Yeah. I used to have 2 dogs, so I get it.
Just, what is the time frame that you're looking at here to open for business?
I have contractors on standby, so we're hoping to hit the pre-Thanksgiving rush, hopefully shortly before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The reality is, had the Greenfield now not screwed up, they'd probably already be moving along.
We'd be close to opening within 2 weeks, we feel, if this hadn't happened, I had to push everybody off almost a month.
So the mistake isn't just,
Yeah.
oh geez, we forgot. It has, and the ministry probably
Impacts.
reflects this,
Right.
it truly has an economic
Impact on others.
impact on folks that
Exactly.
are trying to open for business. And are delayed by a couple of weeks. How many weeks were we delayed? 2. 2 weeks. So, please make sure the minutes reflect that. Okay, so does the council wish to approve the special use permit for the doggy daycare as indicated in the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Alderperson Bailey makes that motion.
I'll second.
Second by Alderperson Collins. Would you call,
Is
please?
this for just item A?
This is just A.
Alderperson Collins?
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey?
Aye.
Alderperson Akers?
Aye.
Alderperson Zarian?
Aye.
Item B1B is approved site landscaping and architectural plans for the Playtime Doggy Daycare. Before the meeting, you indicated there might be some issues that haven't been resolved. Could you come up to the mic? Do you want to go to the mic and just kind of explain who you are? This relates to the site and landscaping issues, I think, just to make sure that we're clear and things move along.
Greg Kowalski, the owner of Playtime Doggy Daycare 3.
I'm Dave Paselniak, better known as Kaz. I'm the architect working with Reagan on the project. We have a few items left to resolve with engineering. They relate to site grading. So I'd be happy to meet with engineering if they've got some questions on the site. But the intention is to maintain the existing grades and let the project or let the property sheet drain as it currently does. And we're intending to repave the entire front parking lot with concrete rather than asphalt. Maintain the grades that are currently there.
And staff and Plan Commission recommended the addition of concrete curb along with redoing the parking lot in the concrete, which would just necessitate a tie-in to the storm.
Which I think you pretty much have to do there, right? I mean, that, or not? I don't remember.
With the addition of the curb that Plan Commission recommended approving.
Right, and I'm maintaining that the existing site drains just fine. If we curb and gutter the planting areas as suggested, that would be great. What I'd like to do is propose wheel stops to allow the water from the current parking lot to continue to sheet drain to the east along the sidewalk and get into the curb and gutter along Highway 100. If we curb the entire east side of the property, we're going to have to put in at least one new storm sewer structure. And that would necessitate tearing this entire parking lot up and trying to find out how to get the water out to Highway 100. That's going to be a major expense and a major delay.
I'm going to leave that to the engineering folks. I mean, one of the problems that we do have, I know there was another issue with a storm drain and whether or not it was sanitary or whether it was storm sewer. That's one issue. One of the issues that we run across, especially with sheet draining across sidewalks, especially in some of these older buildings, is that it all becomes ice in the winter, right? And you could look at, and any landscaping that you have is typically going to die. You could look.
Also raised issues with the pitch of the lot then as well, because our neighbors both have asphalt lots. And in order to pitch it to more drains, we'd have to change the pitch there, which could affect.
That's way beyond our pay grade. We want it to work, we just don't want a hazard created on the sidewalk, right?
I'd love to work with engineering to resolve this because we don't want to create a lake in the front parking lot.
Yeah, we don't want to create a lake in our sidewalk. So so we'll have to figure that out, okay? All right, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That being said, I'd entertain anything else? I'd entertain a motion to approve the site landscaping architectural plans.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderperson Bailey. Is there a second?
Second, is that pending further
Second by
discussion?
Alderperson Akers, just quickly under discussion. With regard to the drainage from the parking lot, the city has an interest in making sure that it's not sheet draining onto a sidewalk and turning into
And
ice
it'll
and
look
destroying
nicer than
landscaping.
parking lot curb stops knocked all over the place after the winter with the
We
trucks.
just need to, so curb stops can be replaced. I mean, we can enforce that. We can require you to make them do what they're supposed to do, right? I'm more worried about the ice and the sidewalks and stuff like that. If it's an aesthetic issue for a solid curb versus curb stops, I'm not, that doesn't concern me. And I don't think it would concern Alderperson Kastner either. Just putting in a curb just for the sake of a curb, because it'll be permanent, curb stops get tossed around. As part of the special use, if they are curb stops, you're required to maintain those. And if you don't, then we send people out there and make your life miserable. And you don't want that, right? So, politely make your life miserable, I should say. Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And we don't want it to look like junk, right? Okay, motion was made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item C is new business discussion decision to approve a side letter of agreement between the City of Greenfield and the Greenfield Police Association for an amendment pertaining to legal representation for GPA under the 2019 through 2021 collective bargaining agreement. The side letter relates to the Greenfield Police Department. It used to be with WPPA. They had a vote. They are no longer with WPPA, and they are going with the Greenfield Police Association and private legal representation. This just allows us, right, as a side letter, recognizing them. They've gone through all of the public sector bargaining stuff and counting in Madison and all the stuff they need to do to have this officially recognized as their bargaining unit. We need to do this so we can negotiate with them and stuff.
Sure.
So I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson
second.
Akers, second by Alderperson Collins. You'll have to call on this one.
Alderperson Collins.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Zarian.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at 5:56.
I'll
So
make
moved.
them.
Second.
By Akers, second by Collins.
Sure.
Vice versa, I guess.
Does it
was.
matter?
It does matter. I don't
Oh, yeah,
wanna-
for the minutes.
It does. By Akers, second by Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?